Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am back with another speed build using the new Life and Death expansion pack, and we are building a house for the Grim Reaper himself. This has been a highly requested build. I wasn't sure how I wanted to tackle it yet because I have built homes in the past for Grim, both a tiny house and a apartment over the last few years, but now that he plays a bit of a bigger role in the game, I thought it was only appropriate to build him a full-size home in the world of Ravenwood, and we are building in the neighborhood of Morning Vale, which is where the Baleful Bog is right behind here, and it just feels very otherworldly and perfect for the Grim Reaper. So I really hope you will enjoy this build. If you do and you'd like to download it, it will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below. So right now I'm just kind of playing around with the roof. I knew I wanted to have the top floor mostly covered for this very specific style of roofing, and I thought I was gonna have like a tall tower in the front, but I ended up not doing that and making it so it was shorter on the second floor instead, and I think it came together so much better that way. I had like a vague idea of what I wanted it to look like, and I just kind of went from there. Wanted to use a lot of the new build items, build features, so I am using the new roof textures, the spandrels, columns, fences, stairs, all of that. I used windows not from this pack though. I ended up using ones from the Vampires game pack. I felt like they worked really well here and achieved the look I was going for, but this is not a limited pack build. I used pretty much everything. It was just inspired by the new pack of Life and Death, and I wanted to build in this world. I think it's really cool that you can now work in the Grim Reaper profession, and basically Grim is your boss, and he is running the NWDD, or the Netherworld Department of Death. I feel like he's probably a really busy guy. He's trying to teach other people how to reap souls. He's reaping souls, returning some Sims to life, making sure they meet the soul quota every month, and being the employee of the month every single month for eternity. So with all of that, I feel like he doesn't have a lot of time to do much else, and I can relate to that. I feel like, especially this time of year, I'm so busy, there's too many things going on, and it's really hard to juggle everything. But thankfully, today's sponsor can help you with that. So thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. As we enter into the busiest time of the year, it's getting harder to find time to plan, shop for ingredients, and prepare hearty meals, but HelloFresh can help with that. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and they've been such a huge supporter of the channel for years now, which is great because I am not good at cooking. They make it super easy with pre-proportioned ingredients and easy to follow recipes. And they have more options than ever before, with over 50 dinner options and 30 calorie smart and protein smart recipes. Plus free breakfast for life. And HelloFresh accommodates that busy schedule, so you can customize your delivery week to week to fit your needs, and even skip a week when you're not able to cook from home. In this week's box, my partner and I made hot honey chicken. It was a nice break from our busy days to spend time together and cook a delicious meal. And it only took about 35 minutes to make. So if you'd like to try out HelloFresh for yourself and support my channel in the process, use the link in my description and code GryphiNov10 to receive 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. So the shape has mostly come together now, and you can see how I used those windows in that bay window area in the front of the house from Vampires. I never used those windows, but I thought they looked so perfect here. And then I am starting to work on landscaping. I was very unsure for a while, so I cut out a bunch of that, but I knew I wanted to use some of these like dead trees that really matched the environment. I also ended up using a lot of the same flowers and bushes you see off lot in these like pink and blue tones, and I just really wanted this space to feel, like I said, otherworldly, and I think I achieved that, but definitely let me know what you think. But right now I am painting the exterior using the new brick that came with Life and Death, and adding some more trees and a back porch, which I should be changing the size of at some point in time, because I just needed it to line up a little bit better with what I have on the interior. And then I thought this side was a little bit too flat, so what I ended up doing is downstairs it's a bump out, and upstairs it is a balcony, and I think it's just a really cool spot because you have a nice view of the Baleful Bog from up there, and I could imagine Grim just out there like kind of like I don't know what it's called when you kind of tap the tips of your fingers together, looking out at the bog. I don't know why, I just imagine that. Kind of like the movement you would make to signify that you're thinking or plotting something. That's kind of what I was trying to explain. Could you also imagine Grim doing that? I don't know why that was like so clear in my head. Anyway, I'm continuing the landscaping now. We got a bunch of bushes from Show Live Edit Objects that are more dead and either like have no leaves, have leaves falling off, are weird colors, or are just a like fall color. So it looks like they are not as vibrant as before. So I tried to use a lot of that here. I love the black roses and these blue flowers. I think they are so pretty. And it just gives a different look. Honestly, this whole part of the world, this neighborhood of Morningvale, is so different than anything we have in the game because, yeah, we have darker worlds already, but something about the skyline here and the beautiful water behind this lot, I thought it was just gorgeous and it was a no-brainer on where I wanted to build this lot. I also wanted to have some gravestones. I put some out front and then there's like a full-on cemetery behind the house. I thought that that was a fun idea. And also when we get inside, there is going to be a nod to a certain ship that my followers on Twitch are a very big fan of who Grim is in a relationship with. And it feels like perfect timing for it, honestly, now that with the update that came with Life and Death, you can romance and woohoo with the Grim Reaper. And if you have the pack, you can actually have children with him. So it's the perfect time to talk more about this romance. And we will as we get to the interior of the build because it does play a kind of large role in parts of the decisions that I made. So moving inside now to work on the floor plan, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to put the stairs. And I originally thought they were going to be kind of central in the house, but they really worked nicely tucked over in this corner. And then I have a fireplace where I think the living room is going to go. And I move things around a couple of different times as I figure out the best placement for all of the rooms. And this bump out I created actually ends up being where the kitchen is. Those bay windows are going to be a large dining room. And you walk into the living room when you first walk into the house with an office in the back and a small bathroom that I'm actually going to shrink. It's going to be a half bath. It's only 3 tiles as it just worked better for the floor plan. And then upstairs, there's going to be a few bedrooms and a bathroom. And then there's an attic space, which we will get to. But yeah, I'm just placing down some placeholder furniture right now to get an idea of the space. Some of these items I do end up keeping, like I knew I wanted to use the new counter set, and I do end up using that table, I'm pretty sure, from Vampires. And then this is floor planning upstairs. I cut out some of the footage here because I redid it a few times because it was very difficult to figure out where I wanted to put the rooms versus where I wanted to put the stairs. But you can see kind of the process of figuring that out right now after I realized there were steps that I needed to add. So I am going to actually delete this wall here and put the steps between these 2 rooms, and that allowed space for a closet behind there and still to have 2 rooms and a bathroom up here. So I was pretty pleased with that. I think it worked out nicely and allowed me to use the 2 tile doors that we have with the new pack. And then you can see a little bit upstairs. All I threw up there was a coffin so far. We will be back to this at the end of the build. I don't really do much else up here until then. Because I just wanted to get the idea thrown up there and I was going to come back to it and kind of fully establish what I was going to do. So anyway, we are back downstairs and I am painting the walls and the floors. Everything is black to start with. I end up bringing in some more wood tones, but I wanted to keep things mostly black and like very gothic because that's how I imagine the Grim Reaper would want his home to look like. So that is what I ended up doing. So if you're not a fan of the black and brown color scheme that I tend to favor, you're probably not going to like this build. But then again, it really makes sense for this build. So maybe it's the exception. But either way, it definitely has that color scheme. I have a couple of pops of color, but they're definitely darker in tone. And also this vase of the dying lilies from the artist kit was so perfect for this build. And honestly, this whole pack, I've been using it a lot. I have a few builds in the works that I'm very excited to share, and not everything's going to be Life and Death themed going forward, obviously. The pack has been out for a couple of weeks now, so I'm still very excited about it. I'm probably still going to be building here plenty, but I have some other ideas I want to share as well, and there'll probably be some like holiday themed builds as we get into it next month too. And I'm thinking about doing Vlogmas this year. I did it the last 2 years. Last year I only did a few days before I just couldn't keep up anymore, but the year before I did all of it. So if I remember to, I will link my vlog channel down below if you'd like to join along for that journey. It should be pretty fun, especially because this year I have somebody who is going to be editing them for me, so I don't have to edit them, which will help so much because I do edit 95% of the videos that go up on this channel. So, you know, it would be a help. It would allow me to do it more. So I am just placing a old TV up here and some books. I also have a card on the wall that has the Grim Reaper on it. I feel like he would just be very proud that he is on that card and would want to hang it up. And then I think we should be soon getting an item that will tell you who the Grim Reaper is having relations with. Once we finish decorating this little side table, I do get the Grimaphone over here, as well as the music box that you can get for ordering the pack early. I still have a creator code if you're curious and would like to buy the pack and support me as a creator. There is that. You can always enter Gryphi at checkout. You don't have to. It's not necessary, but it does greatly help me, and I do appreciate those of you who have done that so far. But anyway, I finished up that little side table there. I love the flowers I put there, and this lamp is from Vampires. I think it's gorgeous. And I also got a couple of keys on the wall, and then we were popping outside to work on the backyard before we finished the interior. And this is where I put some of these plots that you can slot the different gravestones to. I ended up putting a couple of benches out here for your Sims to just like sit at. I mean, I'm not sure how many people are going to be visiting the graveyard outside of the Grim Reaper's house. This could be like lovers that Grim has had in the past, but they were all humans, so they have all passed. And so he has his own like personal graveyard to the ones that have departed. I'm not sure. You can tell whatever storyline you'd like there, but I think that one's kind of fun. And of course, just getting some more of these overgrown plants and trying to make it feel like it just blends into the surroundings, getting lots of terrain paint. I'm pretty sure it disappeared at some point though. I have that issue a lot in the game where my terrain paint just mysteriously disappears. So I will probably have to redo this at some point, so what you're seeing is not going to be final. I also put a sort of like altar in the back. I'm not sure if that's what you would call it. The space where you can put up a photo for the deceased. And I also got this scrying bowl, which is part of the Grim career. So that's in the backyard as well. I don't think going to be functional because it's supposed to be only in the Netherworld Department of Death. And you might have seen I just put up a portrait of Vlad. With what I was just speculating of in the backyard, I think it makes a lot of sense. Perhaps Grim has lost everyone he has loved, as he is the Grim Reaper. So why not then pursue a relationship with a vampire who will live forever? I don't really understand how it started, but at some point in time, I was building something for either Vlad or the Grim Reaper over the years over on twitch.tv/Gryphi. I stream there if you'd like to follow. And chat was just adamant that they were in a relationship. They had to be, no matter what. And I guess they got through to me because I did not build this on Twitch. I built this in my own time, just sitting alone in my office. And I was like, you know what? I think Grim needs a portrait of Vlad in the entryway. And it's gonna be added in a few other ways throughout this build as well. But anyway, the dining room is coming together. I added some bottles of some like different alcohols over here, and we have some plates. I really enjoyed cluttering up this new shelf like hutch piece that we got with the pack. I think it's really nice. You can see like there's a little bit more color in here. I have like the red flowers, and obviously a lot more of the brown tones are coming through, and that will be present in most of the rest of the house as well. In the kitchen, I actually decided to use this flooring from Werewolves. It does look older and like it's seen better days, but at the same time, I really liked it and I felt like it had some character, so I decided to add that in here. And of course, we have all the upgraded appliances and things, as they are very fancy new ones that came with Life and Death, and I really like them, so only the best for Grim. Did anyone else get the Grim Reaper plushie off the Sims merch site, by the way? He is so cute. I was so excited when it arrived. That feels like a item that I've always wished existed, and it's been so cool to see that the Sims is actually making unique merch now. It's not just a logo on a t-shirt. There's like the Freezer Bunny plushie, the Grim plushie. They just released their holiday collection that has a Freezer Bunny mug in it, which is so cool. And there was an ugly holiday sweater as well. I had to grab that. So hopefully I can wear that in some holiday themed videos next month. Just decorating the kitchen here with some clutter. I do come back later on and add a few more things, but it is pretty simple to start. And then this is going to be Grim's office. Of course, I had to use the new desk. It's very fancy and it's reminiscent of the one that he has at his job, which, you know, it's the same desk, but this one is at home. I made sure to clutter it up with all sorts of like work supplies. I got another one of these vases of lilies in here, a candelabra. Of course, there are those motivational Grim posters on the wall. And it's a combination of packs in here, but I did want to use a lot of the stuff from Life and Death. The like stamp thing that is on the desk though, that is from Werewolves. I've always really liked that item as a desk clutter piece. And then I added a couple of bookcases kind of wrapping around this very strange corner in the office. I did that to fit the fireplace in the living room better, and I think it's unique. I like a weird, funky floor plan, so This is the downstairs bathroom. Like I said, it's a half bath, very small, but it has everything you need. And I thought that these paintings from vampires were absolutely perfect for that space. And then we are also decorating the upstairs bathroom. So getting the same fixtures, but I wanted to make sure to include a shower in this one. So trying to figure out how to lay that out the best and getting the same mirror and just like a couple of decorations in here. It's pretty simple, but I do think it came out really nice. I very rarely get to use the towel that's hanging, like the hand towel that's hanging on the wall from vampires. I think it's really pretty and it just doesn't always fit in a lot of interiors. I definitely use the one from I believe it's from Get Together the most. So it was nice to use that one. And then this is going to be Grimm's bedroom. Of course, I had to use the fancy new bed in all black from Life and Death. And the rug I'm using, I believe, is from Realm of Magic. It's like the runner rug that I scaled up so that I have two end pieces that are tucked together under the bed. So there's probably a seam there, but it's under the bed, so it doesn't really matter. And then for the bedside tables, I have candles and books, and I also decided to add this framed portrait of him over on the side. I thought that was kind of fun. And then I decided to get a mirror up above the bed. I wanted to hang some stuff on the wall, but I felt like it would be too busy with the headboard to have much. So I just kept it simple, and I love the new plant over here. Also, it's so cool that we got a base game swatch update. I don't remember exactly how long ago that was, but these tomes over here on the table being in a black color is so nice. They used to only have 3. There was a red, a blue, and a brown. And I always used the brown one, but having a variety of other colors now is so nice. And I was quite pleased with that. But yeah, just adjusting the other bedside table. We have a plant, some books, the Grimaphone again. I felt like that just had to be everywhere in this build. I used a few items from the Grim login event in this build. I'm not sure if I have a good spot of it shown on camera, but I did add the bike out in the front yard. I think it's actually on the front porch. That came from that event that has the cowplant skull on it. I think that is so fun. And I just think it's a silly idea to think of the Grim Reaper riding his bicycle through Morningvale. I love that. But that is his room done, and we are working on the next room, which I kept pretty open-ended. So I'm thinking, maybe the storyline was Vlad moved in as a roommate or was temporarily staying here while his house was under renovation. Speaking of which, I'm hoping to renovate his house and using the new pack. Let me know if you'd like to see that. And so, they had separate rooms. It's just the spare bedroom. But, things probably progress over time, and maybe they end up sharing a room in the future, or maybe he gets his own space with a coffin in the attic for when he needs to sleep in a coffin. I can't remember. I think Vlad does have the thing in his skill tree that makes it so he has to sleep in a coffin. So that is available in the attic, and you'll see what else is up there. But I wanted to just decorate this room as kind of a generic bedroom. It was probably the guest room that Vlad at some point stayed in, and you might see like little items that signify that. But for the most part, it's a spare bedroom and the beginning of an epic love story. I feel so silly talking about all of this because if you haven't been part of my Twitch streams, you have no idea that any of this was something that would be considered here. But it wouldn't leave my head, so I had to include it. I also added an organ up here because Vlad likes to play the organ, and I could also imagine the Grim Reaper doing it. I think it's a fun idea. And then these love seats are from vampires. I think they are beautiful. I don't get to use them that often, especially because I feel like they only work if they're against walls because they are so tall. It kind of obstructs your view of the entire room. But we had this extra space at the top of the staircase, so I thought turning it into another seating area would be nice. And then this is that balcony that I had mentioned before where Grim would be like plotting. And so I have a telescope out here and a bench to sit on if you would like. And then we are moving on up to the attic. So not only is there a nice coffin up here for Vlad to sleep in, he also has over time gotten really into art. He likes to paint and draw pictures, and he might have some on the wall here he has drawn of or painted of his true love, the Grim Reaper. So those are those are on the wall, and I just think it's a cute idea. I love the idea of them together, and I had a lot of fun decorating this space because I feel like lately I've been doing a lot of builds that have this sort of roof. So there is this big attic space that doesn't have that many windows, and I don't have other rooms I really want to put up here. So I end up just putting random stuff and it ends up being storage. So I like this storyline way better. So I'm just going to finish that up with a couple more items, some rugs and lights and stuff. And that should be pretty much it for this build. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Also, a massive thank you to my YouTube members for all of your support. If you'd like to become a member yourself, you can click the join button below the video or the link in the description. Thank you again for watching. Please enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.